Shaw.
Here.
Margot Mooring.
Here.
Nicholas Andrews. Colleen White.
Here.
Justin Lerman.
Here.
Justin Henderson.
Here.
Debbie Cole. Thank you.
And I presume we should have one. Thank you, ma'am. Our first item is approval of the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 meeting. Do we have any discussion on the minutes? Do we have any requested changes, or do we have any?
A motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Thank you for your action. Do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have to disclose any ex parte communications related to this agenda?
No.
Seeing none. Do we have any old business?
No old business.
Thank you, Mr. With that, before we begin new business, I'm just going to kind of describe very briefly how we run the meeting. The Planning Commission bases its decisions on competent, substantial evidence, including testimony provided in this meeting. Any person who is not an applicant or agent that wishes to speak, we need to fill out a speaker's card located on the side table by the door and turn it into the clerk. It is our practice that regardless of the type of issue we are asked to decide upon, each member of the public is given 3 minutes to speak on each item. And we ask for decorum that folks not speak out or applaud or groan or any of those things. You know, we try to keep it as civilized as possible so everyone's comfortable. And we ask that everyone silence their cell phones. So with that, Mr. Public, can we begin with new business PC 1424?
Through the chair, this is PC 1424. It is for property located at 333 First Street North, Unit 110. It is a conditional use application for a restaurant with outdoor seating for a property located in the Central Business District. The property is situated on the east side of First Street, on the southeast corner of the intersection of 3rd Avenue North and First Street. The location has been home to several different restaurants over the years. Most recently was Salt, which I never been to. The applicant is now seeking conditional use approval to continue the outside seating along the boardwalk, partially covered by an existing structure, in conjunction with a new restaurant that will be going in there. As proposed, use of a restaurant in the Central Business District is permitted, but outside seating requires conditional use approval. This particular area of the city, we went to the state legislature and asked for a reduction in size for legitimate restaurants to get approval for a full alcohol license. So it made it more feasible to do small restaurants as opposed to having to have 120 seats and 5,000 square feet of space. So it better reflected what the opportunities are downtown. The property is adjacent to a hotel to the south. There's an existing bar to the north. There's a large mixed-use commercial residential structure to the west, which is the Metropolitan, and obviously the Atlantic Ocean to the east. The proposed use is not conflict with the standards of 34345D7 of the Jacksonville Beach Land Development Code. Generally, the Central Business District is intended to have more densely concentrated commercial centers, and is also contained within the downtown investment zone, as well as the downtown CRA. Both the downtown investment zone and the CRA are intended to encourage growth and redevelopment in the CBD district. The proposed use is substantially similar to both other uses within the CBD zoning and previous use of a restaurant in that location. The use of the boardwalk is very specifically governed by a separate ordinance, so the location and size of the outside seating is regulated separately, but the actual use of that space is still regulated by the Planning Commission through the conditional use approval. They would have to obviously comply with all the LDC standards as well as those in the boardwalk regulation. The surrounding area along North Street is part of the core commercial area of downtown adjacent to the beach. It has been the goal of the city to promote more infill and commercial development in this area, including restaurants. Approval of this application will fulfill the intent of the downtown investment zone as well as the CRA downtown plan. So based on the provided application and analysis in the report, the Planning and Development Department is recommending approval of this request.
Thank you, sir. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in and give any presentation? Thank you, sir.
Please raise your right hand and state your name and address.
Robert Tilka, 3584 Trident Court, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, 32250.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, what would you like us to know? That's right.
Everything you said is factual. This will be a restaurant, there's no DJs, no bands. It's not, I would expect to close it Monday through Thursday by 9 p.m., 10 o'clock on Friday, Saturday, maybe 9 or 10 on Sunday. This is not a rhino in any way, shape, or form. I've got plenty of bars of my own, so I'm not worried about that. I just think it's a valuable asset to the city to try to get mom and dad and the 2.2 children back down to the beaches. And this will help fulfill that need that we're missing, especially of a boardwalk restaurant. Or, you know, if you want to, there's some other plans above it to do something a little bit nicer in the restaurant. But I found that if I wanted to celebrate, or if I wanted to mourn, or I wanted to get married, or have a birthday, the only place I could do that right now is Joe's Crab Shack, Margaritaville, and Casa Marina. I guess they have some tapas food, but we have no real restaurants that take up the gold that we have, the white gold that we have out there to overlook the ocean. So this will help start to fulfill that, and we're just going to go up to where it was before and redo it all. And in fact, this year we've already been hit with some funding by the CRA, which again, shame on me for not knowing, but it was a pretty simple process. So I would recommend anybody doing anything that's in the CRA, they jump on that. It was pretty simple, really, really simple.
That's good to hear. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
What kind of restaurant is it?
It's gonna be a seafood restaurant. I don't want to drop any names, but it's a well-known family that's gonna go in there right now. I want to kind of hold back I'd like to get some more done on the building before we start having people knock on our doors. But it's gonna be a well-established seafood. I was thinking about doing not a fast casual, but kind of a form of fast casual, but I've been vetoed on that. We're gonna do a sit-down seafood restaurant, boardwalk seating. You know, we get a lot of nice weather, even in November, December, and January, so we'll have those days that are good, but it'll definitely thrive from the February through September, October timeframe.
I like your company name, Bad Boys.
That's like one of our partners.
Okay.
I kind of got scared of that when I saw that P. Diddy has a company now, and that's not who I am, that's somebody else. But it's Seafoodville is what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask what's so bad about it.
Yeah, it's not, and we didn't realize that until afterwards, so.
Yeah.
Other questions for the applicant?
Just a reminder to use your microphones.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you.
I'll now open the public hearing. Do we have any speakers cards? Nope. Is there anyone in the audience who has not filled out a speaker's card and would like to address us? Is there still an opportunity? You can talk to us and then fill out the card. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring the item back to the board for discussion. Do you have any questions of staff?
Sounds like it would fit well.
That was no question.
You're right. Do you think it would fit well?
Well, and we may want to have that discussion after we have a motion, but, you know, do we have any discussion, any questions of staff?
Motion to approve.
Second. Can we have roll call, please?
David Dahl,
Yes.
Colleen White,
Yes.
Justin Lerman,
Yes.
Justin Henderson,
Yes.
Mario Morin.
Yes. Sir, your item has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, PC 1524.
Through the chair, this is PC 1524. This is also a conditional use application. This is for a property located at 700 Beach Boulevard. The request is a conditional use application for a drinking establishment and outdoor bar seating for a proposed location in the C2 Commercial Zoning District pursuant to section 34-343-D1 and 34-343-D14 of the Jacksonville Beachland Development Code. Subject property is situated on the south side of Beach Boulevard near the intersection of 7th Street South. The establishment was previously approved for an outdoor restaurant seating associated with a shaved ice business under the name Bahama Bucks. The applicant is now seeking conditional use approval to also operate a drinking establishment serving beer and wine and will include outside bar seating, not to exceed 25% of the gross square footage of the new proposed building. Prior to approval of the outdoor restaurant seating, prior to the approval for the outdoor restaurant seating, was associated with the existing Sonic drive-through structure. This will be a new structure located separately from that property on the same lot. The uses will share the parking, and the current and previously approved designs include code-required minimum parking. Adjacent uses include a commercial strip center to the west, a retail gasoline station to the east, a commercial building contractor and warehouse facility to the south across Cheddar, and a multifamily structure to the north across Beach Boulevard. The proposed use does not conflict with the standards set forth in Land Development Code, which permits drinking establishments with outdoor seating in C2, provided that the proposed use does not create a nuisance and is generally in keeping with the uses in the surrounding area. The proposed new structure has changed in design since the first conditional use was approved. Originally, it was a second structure, basically a covered seating area with roll-down doors. Now they're proposing to actually make it a formal bar, which will include restrooms and a large cooler and taps. The property is currently under construction, but is on hold because the change in the structure includes all the plumbing and piping for serving of alcohol, so they need to make sure that they can do it before they start building the building. The surrounding area is, intense commercial and light industrial across Cheddar. The multifamily structure, which is the only potential conflicting uses, obviously across Beach Boulevard, so several, lanes of traffic away. Staff doesn't think it'll have an impact on that property. You're pretty much adjacent to the bowling alley and a number of other heavy commercial uses on the south side there. Based on the application and analysis, we're recommending approval. And just to kind of clarify, this is, you're talking to me. I can see what we're talking about. So this is the former Sonic building that they renovated. That'll be the shaved ice facility. This is Beach Boulevard here, and it's kind of like inverted. So this is the proposed building, which again was shown on the original site plan for the whole approval back a year or two ago. The footprint's substantially similar. It's just the internal layout's going to be different. Obviously, the use will be different. So this will be the fenced area for the parking for the outdoor seating. The code requires it to have a fence if they're serving alcohol, so it will be fenced. I think they provided a concept of what the fence would look like. And then per the original design, there will be a space for a food truck to basically park and serve food on site, but that's not considered formally a restaurant. So although they'll have food, it's not technically a restaurant, except for shaved ice, which I don't think really counts as a proper food. But in essence, the concept's substantially similar other than the serving of alcohol. But I think they've taken all the necessary steps to provide a use that'll be compatible with the surrounding area in proper scale. So we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Coakley. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in and give any presentation?
Please raise your right hand and state your name and address.
Matthew Wyckoff.
Elizabeth Afuente, 14603 Plumosa Drive, Jacksonville, Florida 32250.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
What would you like us to know?
This is my wife, we have two other daughters as well that go to school here in Jacksonville Beach. Christian did a great job on kind of what we're trying to do here. Just wanted to point out, so.
You have to talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
I have a pointer if that'll help.
Okay. So we're basically trying to create a small courtyard in between so families can hang out with mom and dad. We'll have, some TVs out there for games. Just wanted to create a space, a family type space, even though it's gonna be beer and wine, but we'll have the Shave Ice Company too. But the plans on the show, we'll have AstroTurf out there for like putting greens, cornhole.
More family oriented atmosphere, just kind of like the other gentleman said today. To bring more families to the beach, and although it is a beer and wine bar, we do plan on closing during the week by 10 and then on the weekends by 11. So it won't be an all-nighter.
And maybe some bike access too. We'll have some bike, want to get some bike traffic through there as well.
Yeah, they're actually showing some bike racks right here.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of hard to see, it's very small.
And kind of cover in that area and make it tropical and try to feel as beachy as possible.
Can't get much beachier.
Yeah, right.
I think it's a big improvement from what we've looked at for the last 10 plus years. I did like Solid. I like the courthouse.
Questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll now open the public hearing. I don't see anybody. Would anyone like to address us? Seeing and hearing none, I now close the public hearing. And I'm sorry, I should have asked for speakers cards, but given that I didn't see anybody, I assume we didn't have any cards, so let the record reflect that we didn't have any speakers cards, excuse me for that. Do we have any questions for staff?
Okay, Christian, just real quick. They said they're not open 10 or 11:30. What if that did change in the future? That wouldn't come back to us, right? Like hours of operation? How's that typically handled?
There are some limits to have the ability to operate later than what the code allows, I think is handled through the police department. It's been a while since I looked at it, but no, generally it wouldn't come back to you guys, but I'm not sure that they could even get an extended hour permit. Those may only be downtown, but I haven't looked at that section of the code in a long time, so I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head.
No, no worries.
Any other questions for staff? Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
May we have a roll call, please?
Colleen White,
Yes.
Justin Lerman,
Yes.
David Dahl,
Yes.
Justin Henderson,
Yes.
Margot Maureen.
Yes. Congratulations, you've been approved, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's the fencing there.
You're good. Thanks for going through the process.
Thank you.
so much. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
planning department report, please.
Sure. So the big thing I want to talk about is that we're literally, it just came from a workshop with the, briefing with council. We kind of went over the last bit of items for the land development code that were kind of in question. So over the next month and a half, 2 months, depending on how quickly it goes, we will have a draft from the consultant, and then that will come to you guys for review and recommendation to council. So as soon as we have a draft, we will get it to you well in advance, obviously, but we'll let you know when we'll have that scheduled. But obviously, when you get the draft, if you have any questions or you want to come and sit down with us, me or Heather or whoever, and go over some of those things, highly encouraged. It's a complicated document. There's a lot of changes that we're making. Some of them are just relocations and combining of things. Some of them are structural changes that are substantial. So Like I said, we'll get you the draft well in advance, so you guys have time to look it over, and then if you want to schedule a meeting to come in and talk to us one-on-one, please do. It's encouraged.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're adjourned.